Kara Allah, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Brakatahow, Brakatahow Shai, Brakatahow, Brakatahow Shai, Brakatahow, Brakatahow Shai, the water, above, Bakal Kadash. I like to give the honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone that teach us truth, teach us the 100% truth. The title of this lesson is going to be, E is on an all-out rampage. And as I woke up this morning, I was always go through the headlines, after I read my Bible and do my prayer. And all in the headlines, man, is all these different mass shootings. I can go three right off the top of the head that happened, I think either today or yesterday. One that was in North Carolina, in a place I'm very familiar with down there called, it's near Wilmington, North Carolina. And you had a Edomite that's at some type of seafood place or whatever, or where they harvest seafood, I'm not sure. But he went there on the rampage, and I think he deleted like three other people. I'm not sure how many more were injured. But that was one, they're still going on that case. They had one that happened somewhere up north, I think in Michigan at a church. It's all Edomites, but they say we the problem. Went in the church and they still working on that now. He drove his truck into the side of the church, and you can see the truck in the image with two of the American flags hanging out the back. And a lot of these may be psyops, it's just kind of very, very particular, but they got this truck and he got American flags hanging out the back where he drove into the church. And I guess he went inside and started unaliving people. And I think they took him out, and they're still going through cleaning up that mess, trying to working on that right now. So all the details have not been released on that as well. And then while I was looking at that, there's another one down in, I believe in Texas, somewhere down south somewhere. This one may have happened in some type of school or somewhere down in the Texas area. I can't remember all the details on that right now. But and it's just within a 24-hour span, 24, maybe 48 hours. I can go back 2 or 3 other days to some other mass, shootings that was going on. So these devils are, their time is coming to an end. These curses are falling upon them, and their way of reacting, man, is to lash out. Because that's his only defense, man, is that sword, his main defense. He's a carnal-minded individual or person, as a whole, them as a nation. That's what they like to do. That's their sword, man, that's their gift. So they take that gift and go out here and let out their frustrations, either killing the animals or unaliving, human beings, That's in Eve's nature. And all these things are manifesting in these times. So let me hit St. Matthew chapter 24. Verse 12. St. Matthew 24, verse 12. And because iniquity shall abound, iniquity is mean like all type of sin and wickedness, and the love of many shall wax cold. But he that shall endure to the end, the same shall be saved. So, those of us that's in this truth, this knowledge, this truth, man, we know not to put ourselves in bad situations. Now is not the time to be going out, hanging out in clubs or big sporting events and things of that nature. Because right now the devil's on a rampage, man. And through our wisdom and this knowledge of this truth, we know the time that we in. And, and we stay prayed up, man. We stay prayed up in this truth, and not get caught up in iniquity, because iniquity, it makes your armor penetrable. So we have to stay prayed up in this truth and do what the Lord has required us to do, man, and pray that we're able to endure and not, get caught out there. Because right now Esau's on the rampage. He's definitely letting loose. And you just got to be very well aware of the times that we're in. And mainly this goes out to the elect. You know, we're definitely going into a time of Jacob's trouble. You know, they're definitely pushing that time. You know, and there's a lot of sedition amongst men, mainly Esau, Edom. You know, they'll try to paint Jake as the main picture of all the ills of society. You know, like Jake is causing all these problems, you know, throughout here in Babylon the Great. But we know at the end of the day, man, it's Esau, man. Esau on Esau type crime, man. You know, of course they're going, you know, they're going to attack Jake every opportunity they get. Cause I think I seen where they had some Edomite on the train, you know, stabbing up black, you know, so-called Israelite women. You know, this is nothing new for them. You know, those things don't get reported. You know, unless, you know, it's vice versa, where there's a Jake, you know, doing something to an Edomite, then, you know, they blast it all over the headlines. Even the president gets involved in all these things. But yeah, he is turning loose, man, and it starts back all the way down from the leadership. You know, you got DJ Trump now. I think he's going to Portland. He's going to send them ICE troops over there and stir up some ruckus, you know. And we in that time, man. The time is a lovely time because we know we at the end of this thing, but at the same time, you know, it's vexing us too because we see all the iniquity that's abound all over the place. But we know that the Lord is bringing this thing to a closure, man, and hopefully that we're able to endure to the end, man, and that we see the Lord maybe, you know, be magnified throughout the earth. And you know, you have to constantly watch your phone, man, because it's always breaking news every 5 or 10 minutes. You know, it's something new always jumping off, man. You know, and I kind of, you know, laugh, you know, because it's a joyous laugh because, you know, you see the Lord is putting in work. You know, the Lord is doing what he said he was going to do. And we have to keep up our end of the bargain, those of us that's in this truth, man, that we don't get sifted out of this truth. You know, with all the other side of distractions that they put out there to keep you off your square, to keep you not focused on doing what you're supposed to be doing. And myself, you know, foremost included, man, I pray that I'm able to do it, not get sidetracked. Because right now, there's a lot going on. Let me hit this other precept. I think it was 2 Timothy's. 2 Timothy chapter 13. Thought I had it marked. Shlocky. There it is. 2 Timothy chapter 3, verse 13. But evil men and seducers shall wax worse and worse, deceiving and being deceived. So even evil men and seducers, they're waxing worse and worse. You know, it's getting out here. There's no love on the earth right now. You know, a lot of people are being deceived. You know, they're seeing a lot of the AI things that's going on. A lot of these false flag events that are happening, and people are feeling hopeless and helpless and not knowing what to do. You know, but like I say, Edomites, they like to put a lot of the focus on you Jakes, man. Jakes only make a small percentage of the crime that actually goes on. And a lot of Jake's crimes are created by Esau Edom because they put Jake in a conundrum, man, a tight box, man, with a tight situation where they pumping the drugs, they pumping the COINTELPRO, they pumping the weapons, they take away the jobs, and they create a hellish type condition, and they take the man out of the house. So all this is going to create the chaos that you do have in these Jake orchestrated, you know, unalivings that happen in a lot of our communities. A lot of crime, Jakes, is usually dependent upon Jake being not having, you know, being in poor conditions. You know, if Jake doing good and Jake got jobs and he's maintaining, you won't have all this wickedness is going on. But a lot of time, you know, Jake, we want to be like these Edomites, you know, and so Jake gonna do whatever it is, and all they do is add the fuel to the fire, or add the fire to the, you know, add fire to the fuel that's already being put out here, and you know, shit's gonna happen. You know, like I said, they have a lot of COINTELPRO people amongst our people that create a lot of these situations, man. A lot of the gangs are orchestrated from Esau Edom. A lot of them, the top leaders are Masons, man. They're all tied in. They have a job to do, you know. And this goes all the way back. You know, Esau Edom has always worked covertly on our people, you know, But you know, that's where we pray for the Lord to come back, man, to deliver us out of these times that we in. You know, the Lord will be able to do it. So with that, say shalom.